Guys, today is Tuesday the 14th of March. I was going to put a video out on Sunday or yesterday for the weekly outlook, but I wanted to see a bit more price action on some of the pairs that I cover for you guys before putting a video out, just to have a better idea of where things were going, as a few pairs were kind of messy at that time. But we have some pairs looking pretty good for the week ahead. So let's jump in. But before I do the charts, I want to talk about news this week. Okay, so tomorrow being Wednesday, we have a lot of news. Now, you guys know I don't really trade news. I don't read the news. I don't care about the news. But I do like to be aware of what news is coming out, just in case there's any sudden changes in volatility, if I can expect some manipulation, wicking, things like that. Okay, it doesn't really change my outlook at all on a pair or a setup. But it might affect, where I place my stop loss, or maybe even what risk I use, things like that. Okay, so it's more about trade management. But having a quick look. So Wednesday we have some USD news. Out of all of this, guys, the only thing I'm really going to be aware of or focusing on is going to be the first one, which is that PPI. Okay, as typically retail sales don't do anything to the market. Then going into Thursday, we do have some news here I want us to be aware of. So Euro, we have CPI. Followed by some USD news. I'm not really worried about this. But then later in the morning, around the New York Open, we do have some Euro news. So in particular, I'm going to be really just more aware of the ECB interest rate. Anything to do with interest rates, inflation, core inflation, CPI, elections, things like that is kind of what I tend to focus on for the most part. And then you have like NFP and things like that, right? Then on Friday, a little bit of news in Asia. In London, not Asia. We do have some Euro CPI and then some USD news. So really tomorrow is going to be the main one to kind of focus on, tomorrow and Thursday. The big day for news was today. We saw that USD CPI, USD inflation, core inflation, which didn't really do much. We saw, some movement. But again, I don't really, like I said earlier, I don't really focus on news. I don't think news really changes the market. I feel like news is more of a catalyst to kind of push price where it's meant to go anyways, right? So, trust in your analysis, trust in the price action, and just flow with the market, okay? Of course, every now and then, some news can be crazy volatile and cause, big reversals, things like that. But typically, I would say majority of the time, it's always something you could have predicted beforehand just by reading the chart, okay? So looking at a few pairs, starting off with Euro AUD, I am watching for possible buys from this level, all right, this 1.60500 level. I have not taken a buy yet. I want to see a little bit more, all right? If price can kind of come back down like this, whether it be on the 30-minute, the 1 hour, or the 2 hour, I would definitely be looking for a possible buy from here. I'm just being a bit patient right now and just waiting for a bit better of an entry as well. I'd like to get an entry down off this sort of 200 or 300 level if I can, rather than way up, way off the zone here. So watching this closely for possible buys. If let's say the buy setup doesn't eventuate or it just doesn't play out at all, then we could always see maybe this break lower, and we could see something like this for a break retest of that 200 level or that 500 level for a possible sell. If that is the case later on this week, I'll put a post out in the public Discord for you guys so you know what to look for. All right. Yesterday, I did do a post in the public Discord about looking for buys from here off of AUD USD. This was a beautiful trade that occurred during Asia. All right. Last night, so really clean break and retest of 0.66200 region. Beautiful 2 hour patterns, 2 hour bullish rejection, like just easy textbook setup. Come very close to our risk-free target. I've gone ahead and made it risk-free now just because we're sitting right below 0.67 thousand and we had that news out. So this trade is now risk-free, with my next area of interest being around 0.67800, which gives me around a 4.5. All right. Now, if this does come back to entry, it'll just be closed out at break even, and I can look for a possible re-entry on a buy from there. All right. I know quite a few of you guys caught this, so good job. Next pair I'm looking at is EJ. Right now, I am favoring the sell outlook on this. It just depends, right? I need to see some very bearish price action here. I want to see some patterns on like the 30-minute, the 1 hour, the 2 hour form here. Otherwise, what we might see is just actually break above this level here, come back maybe later today or tomorrow on Wednesday, retest 144,000, and then we can look for possible buys. It just kind of depends. Right now, I'm kind of 50-50 on a lot of JPY pairs. Some are showing a lot of bullish signs, like EJ right now definitely looks like it might break higher, and then some pairs on that are JPY pairs look like they might go lower. So I'm just kind of being patient. I find last week especially, the market was pretty messy. A lot of kind of up and down, sideways movement, quick reversals. So I decided to kind of stay out and just wait for things to line up a bit clearer. All right, there's nothing wrong with sitting out on the market for a day or so, or sometimes even a week, and just letting price move into position. It's going to reduce losses, and it's going to make sure you only need to be in the market when you really need to be. All right, there's no point taking lots and lots of trades when they're just going to lose. I'd rather take 3, 4, 5 good trades in a month that all win than 20 trades with half of them losing and the other half of break evens. Like, it's you want to just trade quality over quantity. All right. So that's what I'm looking for there. Like I said, right now I am looking for sells though, unless it does begin to break higher. Okay. Next pair I'm looking at is AUD Swiss. Not exactly a pair I'm interested in right now. What I would want to see from here is a pullback down into 0.604, 0.602 region where I can look for possible buys. For now, just not really a pair I'm interested in. This is definitely something I'll be looking at maybe in Asia later tonight or tomorrow in London and New York. It just needs a lot of price action, okay? AUD USD I already covered. That one's in profit and risk-free. USD CAD. Now, this is a pair I'm highly interested in, okay? Currently retesting 1.36500, that key level. So what I want to see here over the next day, it just depends on how price lines up and how fast price moves. But if I can see some nice bullish rejections patterns here, I'll be looking for buys back up into the highs of 1.385, maybe even higher with the overall trend, all right? What we could always see, though, is maybe we might get some slight rejection here, a push up, break, and then we get a retest of 1.365, which means we'd be looking for sells. So, but right now, I am favoring the buy setup. It does make sense. I just want to see a bit more price action. It needs a bit, but definitely something that's kind of baking right now, and we can look at maybe later today in Asia, or most likely going to be a Wednesday or Thursday setup, just based on the price action needed here. Another pair, USD Swiss, not really something I'm interested in right now. I would want to see just more on this. All right, as this begins to line up more, I'll definitely post about it. But for now, I'm not too interested. A thing you'll quickly notice about my charts is I don't use any indicators. I don't use any fibs. I don't use any trend lines. I don't use any EMAs. I don't use any of that oscillator crap. It's clean charts, price action, numbers, and that's it. I might use a occasional horizontal ray to mark out a level that I'm interested in or I want to be aware of. But for the most part, guys, like zero indicators, okay? I came from a background of learning where I started off using every indicator possible, and over time I would just remove one and figure out what worked and what didn't. Now, I'm not saying indicators don't work, but typically most traders who I come across, including myself back in the day, who use indicators, they aren't profitable, all right? My trading really skyrocketed when I began to strip things away and really just kind of look at the market for what it is doing and how it moves, and then from there just kind of flow with the market. I took a less is more approach, which means less trades but higher quality setups, and again, just a deeper understanding of how the market moves. All right, so that's my tip for you guys this week: is if you're struggling in the market, maybe consider removing some of that junk that you might be using, all right, and try a different approach. If what you're doing isn't working, try something else. There's no point trying to trade the same way when it just is not working, all right? Always look to improve, all right? Don't get married to one way of trading, or don't get, stuck in your ways of bad habits. Look to improve every day, every week, and sometimes that means completely adjusting or trying a different way of trading, all right? So that's it for now, guys. All right, still early in the week. We have some clean setups lining up. Hopefully, we can see that AUD USD buy push up that I shared. But like I said, if it comes back down to break even, we can just look for a new entry. But I will post about it as things begin to line up. All right, have a great week, guys. As always, make sure that risk management is strict, and I will update with you guys throughout the week.